Welcome to Desi Return Diaries, Embracing Home Again, the podcast that shares personal journeys and expert insights on returning to India. I'm your host, Avinash Pedi, here to guide and inspire you on your Desi return journey. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Desi Return Diaries, where we bring candid conversations with the people who have moved to India. And we have a new episode every Thursday that's available on the podcast. With that, today I would like to welcome our guest, Banu, to the show. Banu has been in US for almost 14 years before moving to India and looking forward to more details of his decision to move back and how his transition is going on. With that, welcome Banu to the show.
Thanks for that warm welcome, Avinash.
Great. So Banu, if you can share a little bit about your background, when you went to US, and what are the trigger points that made you to relocate back to India, that would be very helpful.
Sure. Yeah, I went to United States back in 2009 for my master's and completed my master's by 2010 and did not take a break or anything. I just completed it in like 1.5 years. And after that, even while moving to United States, I wouldn't call it as moving. I really feel uncomfortable saying moving. I'll say like while going to United States, I never had in my mind that I want to settle down in United States or like I should be settled down with my kids and family there. I never had that in my mind. That's probably makes me different from other people. And then I pursued my master's, and then later on went on to find jobs and through H1, and then also started my green card processing. And the green card processing is not to get my green card and settle down again. It's just that I don't know what is the right time to come back to India. So until then, I have to have my job, and then have to have like after 6 years of H1, I have to have more years of H1, those kind of things. It's kind of just a worst case situation, and then trying to have that as a what do you call like a uh,
Like an option or
like an
flexibility.
option. Correct. Yes. So that's what I was trying to do, and that's exactly what I have done. So for after 2009, the thing that like I said, I always had in my mind. Like I started jobs, and then my sister got married back in 2015 and all. But when I came here, I was back then itself. I was thinking about like, how about if I stay back in 2015? It's 13 itself, and then I went for a couple of job interviews and all. Got selected, by the way, and then I didn't like the annual pay and all that stuff. So, and another thing that didn't like about the service-based companies in India is because even after like gaining 5 years of experience, they were more worried about my 10th grade marks and then the intermediate marks and all that. By the way, I'm not a good student though. I just survived. So, with that, even whatever they have promised, they were actually bringing that down by 1 2 lakhs per annum. Those kind of things were happening, which I didn't like. So I said, okay, probably this is not the right time. Then I went back again, pursued my job back in United States for another 2 years, and I got married in 2015. And then 2015 again, I went for the job interview, and still things didn't change. They are coming back and bargaining about my grade marks and all that nonsense. And then I've decided, okay, this probably doesn't change with the service-based companies because it's 2015 already. So I'm not seeing any change. It's the same thing. So then I've decided, okay, I have to do something to get out of United States, and I'm worried about my job because if I don't have job, I don't know what I will even do. That's the situation. So then what I did was like, okay, let's keep it going the same way. And then 2022, I think. Yeah, 2022. I joined. No, 2021. I joined Amazon. And then what happened is like after 1 year into the role, I think by the time I got into Amazon, my wife was pregnant, and after the baby is delivered back in 2022 February, my parents have come to United States, and then they have seen like all sides of the United States. And while they were there, they were seeing like shootings happening in kids' schools and all that. And then even they have said something which made me really think about my decision as soon as possible. Something like, even though you have so much money here, you're not actually spending a good lifestyle. You're not enjoying the day-to-day activities. It's just that the mechanical thing you guys are like just getting used to it. You're not like you don't have any relatives. Those kind of things they kept saying, and that's really true actually. So then, what I have done was like even while joining Amazon, I told the company, the team itself that because good thing about Amazon is while joining they ask you about your career aspirations and what you want to do, all that sort of stuff. So when I joined, they were asking me about those things, and I said, my main goal about joining Amazon is to move back to India. It's not about like I want to become a CEO of the company. I just wanted a simple thing, which is move back to India, and that's my selfish reason to join Amazon. It's not about like I want to get that brand on my resume or anything like that. So they were willing to do it, and but they asked me for like 1.5 year time, and I have given them that time, and then things really worked out for me that way. That after that 1.5 year, I have actually asked my managers and the higher level ups that when can we make this move. And fortunately, with the layoffs and all going on, usually that thing might not have happened, but I'm lucky enough that it happened, and I came down to India. And yeah, that's my background of like why or like how I made that move. But that's basically the overview, like the brief story of about.
Okay, yeah, thanks for sharing that. So sounds like you always had this determination in mind to move back, even while going to US, and you have attempted a couple of times, but things are not ready at that time. You just take the right opportunity and the right time. And
Right.
sounds like some of the discussions with your parents and the newborn, so that kind of accelerated and just made the decision to move back.
Yep.
Okay, so I would assume that you have made an internal transfer within Amazon, and you are working at Amazon India.
Correct.
So which is very common, especially for people who are trying to move back. I mean, that is like safest if it's ever possible to have that internal transfer. So maybe my question on the career side is, how is the work-life balance or the work culture in India compared to US? Again, from your perspective, uh, I think that would be helpful for the people who are considering about moving back to India.
Yeah, again, things, I wouldn't say that things have totally changed when you compare the, again, the service-based companies, so-called service-based companies, and then the product-based companies, right? So if you compare, there is a huge difference between them. And also for people who actually think that, okay, this guy probably got it covered because he was in a Fang 5 company, so it all worked out for him very well because he moved out and then there is internal transfer and all that. Things happened like very fast and then it's easy for him to move. But what I would like to give an example is even after coming here, I was mostly like thinking about the worst case situation because Amazon was is probably still under hiring freeze. I don't know the full status of it yet, but if the move didn't happen, like I have taken a drastic step to come to India. The main reason was that my parents were like already old, and then my kids doesn't have anybody back in United States. It's like they're not spending time enough time with the family and all. That's the main motive. But at the same time, my father actually had broke his leg during like this year, April, May itself. And then I was like, okay, no one is there to take care of him. So I was like, okay, no matter whatever happens, I will leave the job. I'll leave Amazon. I'll just move back to India. That's what I have decided. So with the job itself, I moved and I told them that I have only one option, which is either you transfer me to India or I just resign and look for something else. So they were, like I said again, like it worked out very well that they did that for me. But even if they didn't, I had my worst case situations figured out, and then I was making moves here and there. Like I went and applied on Indeed and LinkedIn, and then easily found a job. Not a service-based company; it's another company which is product-based. It's not based out of United States; it's based out of UK and Africa. So I got the job offer, but then I told them that uh, I would not be taking it because Amazon actually made the internal move. So what I'm trying to say with this is, don't worry about the job and all, because once you come to India, you can just figure it out. Like it'll just take a little bit of time, but you will figure it out. It's not like a rocket science or anything like that. So that's basically what I have done. I think like again, it's it's just the service based companies versus the product based companies. It's just that product based companies, I wouldn't say it, but they treat you very well. It's just about like how you play with it. Like you have enough United States experience, so it's all about your mindset. Like I have been very open minded. I just take things as they come in and then react instead of proactively keeping that in my mind, saying that, oh, these guys don't treat me very well, probably, or like I will have to work like tens and 12 hours of throughout the day, those kind of things. You have to just set the expectations. That's what I have done. Like I work night shifts, and I told them that like throughout the night I cannot be awake. So what I will do is like I'll start somewhere around like evening, like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. in the evening, and then take it through like 11, 12 a.m. in the morning. So that they have agreed to. I mean, again, like just set the expectations to whatever you wanted to do. And then even with the product-based companies, sometimes they expect you to work very few times. Like Amazon has that culture probably because it's worldwide, right? Like they expect you to be available off hours as well. So those things are still there, but you cannot control them. It's just that how the where the company is based out of, those kind of things come into picture at that point. But to me, to answer your question in one line, it's just all about your mindset, is what I want to say.
Got it. So, but thanks for sharing that. I think sounds like you are planning for the plan B even before you had the discussions about the internal transfer, and you were able to get a job like from applying through regular job portals,
Correct.
and while you're in US. So I think this is some of the common questions that people ask. Whether companies would take you seriously if you're applying from US. How serious are you to move back?
I haven't applied from US. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I came down to India and then I've started applying from India itself. Like
Oh, got it.
had a phone number figured out and then updated my resume according to that so that they can reach out to you. But I think that perception is true though, that if you try from United States, you wouldn't get much calls and anything of that sort. I never even received one call. I have been applying for years and never received a call from United, like when I applied from United States. So that perception probably is true. I don't want to say it's 100% true because I have faced it, so I can say probably true, but I don't know if someone has received the calls or not. So
Yeah. So sounds like I think that has been a common experience. I think people might not take an applicant seriously. I mean, again, this is from you for several years, like you mentioned that
Correct.
you have applied,
Yes.
but immediately after coming to India, that is an uncertain that has already been cleared. So, you
Correct.
are in India, so you are good to go. And
Yes.
the few things that I heard, like, talking to people are people who have US experience and who are already in India, ready to work. They have an advantage. I mean, depending
Correct.
on your requirements, there are a lot of opportunities that you can choose from. There are a lot of jobs that are available. So I think it might not be very comforting, but trust it and move. I mean, from a
Correct.
career perspective, there are so many opportunities, and the value of your experience in US is considered valuable. And also, one thing I heard was you can join the company quickly, because typically in India it's about 90 days you have to wait, but somebody is ready to move, join the team quickly. I think that there's also an additional advantage.
Correct.
Couple of
Yes.
points that I want to add on.
Yes. I totally agree on that.
Okay, that's great. Um, so I think you kind of mentioned about working, in the evenings and the times, right? So just because maybe in terms of how you set your expectations with your team as part of the internal transfer, so it could vary from a person to person, in depending on the situation, whether it's they're working within the Indian times or whether they're working on a project that requires to work from an off hours with the colleagues in a different country. Yeah, it could vary from a person,
Correct.
situation to situation.
Yep.
Cool. So taking a step back, I think you have made the decision to move back to India. Maybe anything that you want to shed some light in terms of the logistics, in terms of the actual move, selling things, shipping things, taking care of, like, winding up things in US and taking care of or setting up the things in India, from a physical move, that would be helpful.
Yes, definitely. I had a house in Dallas, Texas, when I was actually moving, and I bought it like 1.5 year before the move. So it was just pretty short period of time. And by the way, it's a good profit sell though. But um, so we were worried, like you said, like what would happen to the house and those kind of things. But I think somehow I planned it very well, saying that like I'm a person that who plans out for the worst case for everything. So what I've done was like I put my house in the market. Uh, if May was right, yeah, I put my house in the market back in January this year, and then the market wasn't good enough. Like the interest rates are high, but then somehow Texas market is pretty hot all the time, like it's weather. So I got good amount of showings and all that. But then in April, I think, luckily my flight was on May 17th, and April someone has put the offer, like a couple of people, and I chose a good offer, and then it all got closed out pretty well.
Yeah.
And while we talk about the stuff inside the house, like I had good amount of stuff like couches and then refrigerator and all that. So we initially thought that we will move by talking to Unirelo and all those people. But then I spoke to them. But the only issue was like my couch was very valuable. It was like I spent around like $5,000 or $5,600 around for that couch. So I was thinking about like it's even really worth it to move the couch. It's actually worth to move the couch because I know how the couches are in India and all that. So I was thinking about it. But later on, I spoke to different people in India, and then spoke to different stores and found out like the density of the foam, those kind of details of the couches, and then finally decided that everything we can sell it. Like we use the my wife, actually I should not say we, because I have no what do you call no cooperation towards it
Involvement
at
or like.
all. Like I don't even know how to sell those things in Facebook market and all. But my wife is the one who actually sold out every single thing, and whatever is there, I was telling like whatever is left out, I'll just trash it and then we'll leave. That's it. But then she sold everything out, and like very easily. My dining table and then the couches and everything, like the bed frames,
Yeah.
everything. She sold it out on Facebook Market. Um, yeah, basically those are the things. And then my theater stuff and all, I would recommend if someone has a good media room and back in the United States. I'm a uh, media loving person, so I brought everything with me. I actually purchased a couple of bags because I have seen the receivers and the speakers and then the projector, all those things are pretty expensive in India. So I only bought it like for 1 year. So I thought I'll just take all of them with me. So I purchased a couple of bags. It's actually worth it to purchase that. And then took all of them with me. And my wife had a couple of things like she does YouTube videos for arts and crafts. So she has a couple of things like a cricket machine which cuts the paper and all. So those kind of things she brought it with her, like a couple of bags that she brought it, and nothing else we brought. Like it's only our clothes, and these are the basic things that we brought, and then some things for my wife, which is like Instaport, those kind of things. But after coming here, what I've realized is like few things. Like I brought my TV as well. Few things work without any converter, nothing. It just my TV works out very well. I brought a 55-inch TV. They charged me $75 for shipping and handling, like kind of what do you call, like fragile handling. That's what
Yeah.
they call it as. And then 135 for like it's an extra baggage. That's what it counted as. And then $135 for it. And I came in Emirates. So that's a 55-inch TV. And after coming here, they told me that you can even bring 65-inch TV. That's what they were telling me. I mean, until you take it, you will not know. People will tell
Yeah.
so many things, but so that's about the TV. And think nothing else. We brought it with us. Yeah, after
Okay.
coming here, like what I was saying was like after coming to India, few things worked out with directly
Yeah.
using the universal converters and all that. But few things didn't, like Instaport and my receiver. Projector worked out again very well. Just putting it into the universal. But Denon receiver didn't work out, and I actually shorted the circuit and all that. But then there is again, as like I said, there are good people who are into these electrical repairs and all. And I've taken that receiver to him, and then he charged me like 5,000 rupees, and he fixed everything, and it's working out for me. So, and I brought the converter. I bought a converter in India, which is like that variation 230 to 110 and all that. So that I bought, which is for 4,000 rupees. I bought two converters. One is for my media room, and one is for my kitchen, where I have this coffee machine and all those things I bought. So those things, those are the only things that I would be really cautious about while bringing. Like if you're really using it, it's worth to spend that much money on the bags and all that. But if you think you have to see, like I bought my projector for 1.5 year and used it, right? So you have to put that what do you call depreciation and all that into paper, and then see how much it is being charged in India, and based on that, you have to make that decision.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be waste of time if you are bringing like 5-year-old projector. It's pretty much basically the same thing if you buy it here. So
Yeah.
that's basically it from the logistics perspective. Like I said again, if you have that in your mind that you are moving on, everything will just probably fall in place. That's what I feel like.
Yeah. Cool. Maybe switching gears a bit. So, how? What was your expectations or apprehensions of moving to India? Anything before, like after living there for 14 years, there's a certain lifestyle that you might have adapted. So, there could be some apprehensions or concerns or whatever it could be, right? Or maybe some expectations. How has it been going so far? Living in India.
A few things we were worried about was the like how the prices would be, because my salary would be depreciating to probably like 70%, 60%, and all that. So after coming here, what I have seen was like pretty much everything is good price. Like the vegetables and all that, all those things are fine. But then when you come to plumbing things, and then the electrical, those kind of things are pretty much the same. Like I would call it as like whatever you purchase. Let's say a bulb that you purchase in United States, it would cost the same thing in India as well, is what I'm looking at. So from that perspective, I did not expect that, but basically that's it. We cannot do anything about those kind of things, right? So that's one thing that was not expected. And another thing, like kids adjusting to school and all that. My younger one is like 15 months old while we were moving, so there is no school for her yet. But my older one was going to what do you call pre-kindergarten back in United States, and then every 2 weeks she used to have some sort of cold, cough, and we were in Dallas, right, like allergy state. So she used to always have some sort of problem with her eyes, and every day she used to take Claritin while going to school and all that. But then after coming here, luckily, touchwood, nothing like until I moved on May 17th, and until now, it's been like 3 months, probably 3.5 months. Nothing, not even fever, not even like I thought they would get some kind of dysentery, diarrhea, or something. But again, nothing, like absolutely nothing, zero for my younger one as well as my older one. So they got pretty adjusted to the weather, and uh, probably because I don't know, it's because. I came to Hyderabad when my older one was like 11, 12 months. Probably she developed the immunity back then itself. I don't know. But it's pretty surprising for me that they got used to it pretty quickly. And my older one, I used to ask her, like, she keeps calling my United States house as like green door house because it has a green door in front of it. So whenever I ask her like let's go back to green door house and all that, she's like, no, I don't want to go. So she got pretty adjusted here, and then the school is working out very well for her. Like it's an international school. I joined her into IB school itself, and the school name is Trinity International School. So I joined her here, and she every day used to cry back in United States, but somehow here she's excited to go to school every day. She wakes up in the morning by herself, and then because she gets to play with a lot of friends and all, I think that is working out pretty well for me. And nothing unexpected though, because I don't know, like probably that's what I tell my friends. Like they were talking to me about like traffic. They were talking to me about jobs all the time. Traffic, definitely it's a problem, but it's not something as bad as people say back in United States, because they compare like probably what do you call, the highways in United States to the local roads here. Then it will be a problem in any country. So when you're driving in India, all you got to have is that patience, that and also that mindset. Like whenever you're going out, back in United States, we follow the time, right? Like if you're telling someone that I'll be by 9 a.m., you'll be there by like 8:45, 8:50 a.m. But people, whenever they say I'll be there in half an hour, it's just 1.5 hours or
Yeah.
2 hours. So that mindset you have to develop, and then you don't have to be that way. But it's just that if you're expecting someone in half an hour, you just don't have to get frustrated, because people are used to that. So you got have to get used to that, but they will not be changing because they have lived here for like so many years. So that's one thing. And then the traffic wise, I'm after 1 week I came to India. I started driving, and only thing I had a problem was with the the gear, the manual
Right.
vehicle, but the I purchased an automatic one, and I'm pretty much comfortable driving that. And there are no hassles at all, like zero hassles. It's just again my open mindedness has actually made the move very comfortable. Like you have to be really open mind that you should not be expecting like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what is going to happen. No way it's going to happen that way, no way it's going to be that way. You just have to be open mind and then just take it as it comes in, and then based accordingly you have to plan for it. It's not like you pre-plan something and then it'll work out. I don't think that will be the case when you move to India.
Yeah.
So that's about the expectations.
So yeah, that's great. I know. I think you kind of touched a couple of points with the open-mindedness. I mean, I think that's an important, you know, preparing mentally, like not only
Right.
like the physical mood to be able to transition properly. That's one aspect. The second one, I think you kind of touched about the cost of living, right?
Correct.
Again, from your perspective, I mean, if you're okay, this is also another common question that we hear.
Sure.
What is the cost of living? I mean, maybe you can take an example of living in Hyderabad. I think from your perspective, if you can share on the cost of living side, the perspective on that, I think that would be also helpful.
Yeah, I can tell very openly that if someone has EMIs worth, let's say monthly 1,50,000, 2 lakhs, like that. If you have a job which is worth monthly like 3.5, 3 lakhs per month, then you'll be fine. But let's say who has 1 lakh month salary, but then they have like 1.5 lakh EMI or 1 lakh EMI, then it's really going to be tough situation. So you have to plan it in such a way that, like, for me, again, it worked out very well. Amazon pays very well. So I actually bought a house, and then I have monthly like 1,30,000 EMI that I need to pay. So, but I'm pretty much fine paying that. So it's like that. So you have to think about it in such a way that you are if you are working definitely for a service based company, that I can tell you for sure, because I have friends, I have people who I spoke to after coming here. They are even getting probably halfway less than what I am getting paid. So that's what you need to look for. Like, I wouldn't say you should not work for service based companies. It's each person's opinion. But I will say this, that there is a huge difference between what service based companies pays you and product based companies pays you. So that's one thing you have to look out for. And monthly expense wise, like back in United States, every weekend you have to go out. Otherwise, because that's one thing that will actually keep you entertaining, those kind of things. But in India, somehow I don't feel like that. I mean, every day is kind of entertaining. It's like time passes out without even knowing. So you usually don't go out to eat at all. Like for me, in these 3.5 months, I actually ate outside like 3 times, probably monthly once, and it costed me. We went to good restaurants, like good expensive restaurants like Oris and all that, and it costed me every time when I went there probably around 3,000 rupees for my family itself. When I went with my parents, it's like probably 8,000 rupees, something like that. So it depends on how much you want to spend when you come to India, and then how much you want to save. Those kind of things will come into picture. But if you want to live like a normal life, I would say monthly, if you are not paying any rents or EMIs or anything, I would say probably around like 1 lakh rupees monthly is more than enough. It's like it'll keep you happy, like with your family, like not just one person. But if you have EMIs, and probably not EMIs, let's say if you have monthly rents, like if you're staying in somewhere like Manikonda in Hyderabad, or like Kondapur, or Kokapet, those kind of areas, It's like pretty expensive. 40,000 monthly rent, 50,000 rents are going on, like 30,000 rents. It starts somewhere around 25,000 to 50,000. And even in our area where I'm living currently, I mean, I was paying like while my house was getting constructed and all, I was paying around 55,000 a month for a villa. So it depends on like what you wanted to pay based on your salary.
Yeah.
So I would say monthly keep it somewhere between 25,000 to 50,000 for your rent if you're wanting to stay rented, depending on where you wanted to stay. So that's the amount that it's going to cost. But food wise and then groceries, nowhere close to what we paid in United States, because back in United States I used to spend around weekly like $700, and here it's not even $100 weekly. So that's how about I look at it. So
Got it. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, from yours perspective about the cost of living and, the numbers around it. So
yeah.
that's very helpful. Is there any topic that we haven't covered or anything that you want to, mention for the future aspirants who are considering to move back to India?
Nothing, nothing actually very different from what others must have or might have shared already. But I will say one thing which is very different from what others have done versus me. You should not be looking back after coming to India. Like you cannot compare what you were like. Oh, in US, I was doing. I would have done this way. Oh, in US, like this must have this should have happened in a different way. Those kind of things you should not compare, because every country is different, because their cultures are different. So when you went there, their culture was different and you got adjusted to it. So when you come here the culture is different and you have to get adjusted to it. You cannot change 134 billion people in India. So
Yeah.
you change yourself and then go with the flow kind of. So that's only the thing that I have seen in our WhatsApp groups and all those people like who were asking for questions. People are really scared to. I will say one thing, like you don't get scared to come to India. You have to be scared to go to other countries because that's not your country. But in India, you were born and brought up here, so you need not be scared. Actually, it's easy actually if you think about it that
Yeah.
way. That's what I want to call it as. So
Okay. I think that's important in terms of like, making a decision and sticking to it, and then moving forward, right?
correct.
Yeah. um, so I think we are moving to the final uh, episode, I mean final thing, which is our rapid four. So the first question is, what's the surprise thing after moving to India?
Um, I'll just talk from Hyderabad perspective. When I went to that Manikonda area and all those like Gachibowli and all those flyovers and all that, I was really awestruck with the skyscrapers, and I felt like it's some kind of what do you call newly built New York. That's what I told even my friends, like what the hell, like when did all these got built up like this? So it's very clean and all that. So I was really taken back by what I have seen. I was not driving the car, I was just looking around like wow. So that's what I was actually surprised with,
Yeah,
because everything
especially
else.
a lot of the concrete jungle, right? Like these high rises, and especially like some of the flyovers that goes through these buildings. It just looks amazing in the night, and it's almost like you are in some other country and not
Yes,
being
yes.
in.
I did not really. I have seen the videos and the pictures and all, but I thought it's just some sort of editing and all that involved in that, right? So until I've seen it with my eyes, I was like, wow. There are no words for me. It's like that's the surprising thing for me, at least from the Hyderabad perspective.
Cool.
That's what I've said.
What's your favorite Indian food?
I mean everything. Everything which is Indian, I love it. But then I'm missing one thing though, which is the Americanized, these things, which is chipotle, those kind of things were there. But you can find here and there, but you definitely don't find the same taste. So,
Maybe one place to try it out is called California Burrito Bowl.
oh, is
It
it
might
okay?
not be exactly the same, but you can get it close. There are several
Okay,
outlets here in Hyderabad. Yes,
okay,
Avinash.
I will try that. Okay, okay, yeah. I mean, biryani anytime is my favorite from the Indian perspective, but I don't try outside biryanis mostly. I actually make my own biryani, or my mother's. My mother makes very good biryani actually. So that's the best thing that I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the favorite travel destination in India?
I don't have one yet because I have seen so much in United States, but outside Andhra Pradesh, I have not seen anything in India. So we were planning something around December to Wayanad and like Kerala, around Kerala and all that. So, but after that, I'll probably have one, but probably for now it's Hyderabad, I guess.
Cool. And then the last one is the best part of living in India.
It's you just don't know the time. Like it just you don't know when the sun rises and when sun sets. So everything is pretty quick, fast, and also it's like it's two things that I've observed, and which is my favorite thing is like if you look at from a street vendor perspective to probably someone a CEO sitting in those Manikonda buildings and all, anyone can live in Hyderabad or India. So that's what I would say. It's like the person who is earning probably 10,000 rupees a month will live his life to person who is earning like probably monthly like 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, or like crores probably will be living their life. So everyone can live in India. It's not like that person will go on a bike probably, but this person will go in a Benz. But it's just the same life that they are leading. Like it's pretty good to see that everyone is living their good life in India
Yeah.
without any fear and all that. That's the best thing.
Okay, I think that's great. Yeah. So thank you very much for sharing your story, the reasons, and especially some details on the numbers of the cost of living. So I think that is very valuable to our audience.
Sure.
Really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your journey with us today.
No problem. No problem. And thanks for scheduling this, Avinash. I really appreciate taking this initiative because I know a lot of people are scared about moving back. But I would say the coming years, it would be really uh, good for Indians to actually move back to India and work it out from here itself.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks.
You too. Thanks. Thanks, Avinash. Bye.
Thank you all for joining us on this insightful journey of Desi Return. If you enjoyed this episode and want to explore more stories and expert advice, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts and experiences. By the way, check out the links in the description below for our Facebook group and social media for updates and engaging discussions, as well as connecting with fellow Desi Returners. Thank you once again, and until next time, may your Desi Return journey be filled with joy, growth, and endless possibilities.